We know how much you guys love listening to our stories, but did you know you can also listen to more stories, books, and podcasts on audible.com?
Say what?
Listeners of Storylords might enjoy the comedy sci-fi series Dungeon Crawler Carl. It's about a regular guy named Carl who's thrown into a big old dungeon crawl to save humanity from aliens, which are real. Do your own research.
And I've been listening to the High Republic Star Wars series for months now. And I've been listening to...
I am partial to iRobot
Okay, go, your turn.
because it helps me set my boundaries with organic beings.
I like to read magazines that judge people's decorating tastes. Oh yes, okay, you go. Do they do those?
Audible lets you listen to your favorite series while you're driving or just chilling at home at any speed you want. And there's tons of books and types of literature to choose from. I like the book. That's audibletrial.com/storylords. Sign up for a trial today and help support your boys, the Storylords. Aww.
With 2 prompts, 3 stories, and infinite laughter. I am Rich, and with me as always is Josh.
Hi, this is the first time we did the intro today.
And Jeff.
Hello everyone, it's me, Jeff.
Seamless, guys. It's like nothing ever went wrong. This week, our prompts were skyscrapers and lotteries, which I struggled to think of anything else other than the movie High Rise with Tom Hiddleston or the horror movie The Platform.
What are those movies?
Okay, period.
So The Platform is a Spanish horror film about a
Is that
lift.
the jail one where like they are in the jail with like the big platform that goes up the middle
that
of
comes down with the food, yeah.
Yeah,
And the
okay.
lower you are, the less food you get.
Yeah.
And High Rise
I've
is...
seen parts of that.
It was really good. It was just weird. And then High Rise is the film with Tom Hiddleston where like the higher you are, the bigger your status on the in the high rise, which is good.
That's a little literal. That's a little...
Yeah.
You know, Tom Hiddleston is in a movie right now where he plays like a character. It's called like Good Luck Charlie or something, and it's like
Right.
he's playing like a fucking like Steve Carell character.
Weird.
Why?
I don't know.
Stay in your lane, Hiddleston.
Hiddleston, you were blessed with that face.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
You are not a Steve Carell type, my friend.
Steve Carell had to be Steve Carell because look at him.
To be honest though, Steve Carell, man, he is looking good lately.
Yeah,
No, he
he's
does
silver
look good.
foxing it. Yeah.
He is getting more attractive as that man gets older.
He's rich. He's really rich.
Yeah, it's hard to look like shit if you're rich.
Rich is the
Yeah.
richiest guy I know. How come he hasn't gone silver
That's
fox?
true.
I have silver in my beard.
He looks pretty good, I think.
I always said that Rich looked like a Sears catalog model. Like
Thanks.
he just looks like he would be grilling and smiling at the camera in his new
First
fucking.
of all, I've never heard you say that. Second of all,
Rich,
who
how
are
many
you saying this to?
how many times have I said that, Rich?
You have. You said it on Discord a few times.
Yeah.
Well, I think he looks like an LL Bean model. Suck on that shit.
Oh.
Oh no, I've been one upped again. It's the $1 of pledge again.
I mean, I sent you the picture when I was at the gig, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I mean,
It was
I,
a good
I-
photo.
I don't think I look 42. Let's just say that. Maybe like 38.
I feel like I don't look like I'm 42.
I don't
either,
think so
but-
either.
I look 38.
No, you don't.
I've accepted it. It's fine.
A young 25.
I look like a 12-year-old lad with a beard,
Yeah.
and no hair.
Part of that is the ridiculous commitment to wearing a school uniform everywhere you go.
Look, it's me and the guitarist from AC/DC, all right?
Angus Young.
You did go through that big Angus Young phase.
Exactly. That's why his last name is Young.
Yeah.
It makes so much
Oh my
sense.
god. Sorry for the fucking lawn mowering, everybody.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I don't hear it. I think it's in
like-
his head now.
I'm literally
Yeah.
like blocking the microphone with my bulk right now.
I think he just like wakes up in the middle of the night and he's like, turn the lawnmower off.
I do. I got PTSD from it.
Crystal's like, there's no lawnmower, Jeff. There's no lawnmower.
Please believe me. Please
let me. She's a Southern belle. Please, Jeffrey.
Sleepwalking at the bottom of the bed with holding his arms out as if he's mowing.
Shall I call the apothecary?
He's got the vapours.
The grass vapors.
Right, I'm going to read first this week. So we're going to head over to Omniverse. My story is called The Biggest Building in the World, the Skyscraper. Take that, Turj Khalifa.
What the fuck?
Because the Burj Khalifa is the biggest building in the world.
Wow.
It only works if you know architecture, I guess.
That's the one in Fast and the Furious 7? Where they drive through it, yeah.
And the one that Tom Cruise climbs up.
Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now I've explained that joke. The man woke up in a bed that was both too comfortable and too white, like the majority of sex offenders in Hollywood. He sat up, rubbing his temples, the sort of headache that suggested a hangover post the age of 30. You know, one of those multi-day ones that swear you off a certain type of alcohol. Yeah, one of those. For the life of him, though, he couldn't remember what he had done last night, but the headache suggested something bad. Does the herpes someone would get from sleeping with your mother give migraines? I'm genuinely asking for a friend. Cough, Josh, cough.
I don't think herpes gives you headaches. But I get headaches from everything, so who knows?
What about chocolate herpes, Josh?
Chocolate herpes. Choco herps. He shuffled towards the window to find he was in a high-rise building, so tall he couldn't see the ground for the clouds. Then he caught his reflection in the glass and found he didn't recognise the person staring back at him either. And not in the cool Jason Bourne way, but in the doddery old man with dementia who hides his own birthday presents way.
Wow. That was specific.
Really specific.
He searched his pockets. No phone. He searched the nearby dresser. No clothes of his own. Just grey jumpsuits and socks with little smiley faces on that seemed to mock his confusion. He had a name, probably. He had hobbies, presumably. But none of them came to mind. He looked down at himself. Pyjamas. Star Wars. And not the cool vintage ones, but prequel merchandise. Jar Jar Binks' face stared back at his own bemused face. Fuck. Misa a loser, the man muttered.
Misa jabbies now.
He walked out of the stark, white and unfamiliar room and into the rest of the apartment. It was pristine in the psychotic Patrick Bateman calling your kid X, enjoying spelunking approach to life.
Jesus. Take that, spelunker.
Pristine like an IKEA showroom on Bring Your OCD Clean Freak Meth Addict Friend to Work Day.
Jesus.
Everything soft closed and scented with sandalwood. If Martha Stewart were here, she'd be in Sploosh City. If she wasn't too busy embezzling, that was. He found a glowing tablet on the kitchen island next to an unopened packet of biscuits. Cookies, for everyone who needs to know.
We know.
Oh, right. You call them dumb words.
Yeah. The note read, "Congratulations and welcome to Floor 200. You've won the Re-Life Lottery. You will reside here for 365 days to improve your mood, social standing, and love life. Upon completion, you will receive £500,000. Your needs will be completely catered to, and safe as a kitten during your time with us. Enjoy your stay." There was no signature.
What?
The biscuits were custard creams. Do you guys have custard creams?
All right.
I don't think so.
Okay.
You're gonna put biscuits? At least make them something I know what the fuck they are.
It's going to get worse. He hated custard creams, so he only ate 6. He couldn't even remember entering this lottery, let alone knowing the fine print. What have you gotten yourself into, buddy? He sighed. A good question, resident. I am management. The complex is artificial intelligence. Please do not be alarmed. Your memory has been slightly restructured to optimise your experience. You are safe, loved, and in no legal danger. Do not attempt to access other floors upon threat of death.
Jesus.
Damn.
Who are you? He asked, looking around for the source of the voice and finding only a small control panel with a speaker and camera set at the top embedded in the wall. I have just explained. I am management. Think of me as your concierge, caretaker, and lifestyle coach, all in one lightly threatening digital presence.
Oh, man. This is like that movie with Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, that's a psychopath.
Hymns.
Oh, is that why I keep getting these?
He's got the management thing is called Blue Chew. What? But what is there to do here? It all seems a bit sterile. Can I access the internet? Can I check the news and binge watch whatever passes for television in the near future? Can I masturbate? Interesting that those are your three priorities, management said. You can do those things and anything else within the confines of the apartment level. However, it should be said that anything you do will be observed, reported on, and judged. The man racked his brains. What porn would be suitable? Certainly not any school uniform kink. They might think he was a weirdo. Not any stuck in appliance stuff either, in case the AI might take offence. Interracial, maybe, to show he wasn't prejudiced? It was a bloody minefield. The AI cleared its throat. While you plan your trip to Tugtown in your new surroundings, I will leave you to it. Remember, do not leave the floor! The man instantly found the door and left into the hallway of this floor. The apartments must have been huge. There were only 2 doors. His marked 1 and the door opposite, confusingly labelled 7. He approached his neighbour and knocked and instantly heard a shuffling away from behind the door. Hey, I'm... Fuck, he didn't even know his first or his last name. Stalled at the 3rd word. Your neighbour. I just wanted to see if you knew what was going on around here. I'm around if you want to talk. He trailed off, not really knowing what to say. I guess I'm not a psycho or anything. I guess, he thought. What the fuck was he talking about? I mean, I'm not a psycho, obviously, he laughed. All right, bye forever. I'm going to go die of shame now.
It's a very British story.
He made for the apartment door, but stopped as he noticed the lift at the end elevator at the end of the corridor. The man tried the button.
Custard cream elevator.
It just buzzed
I
at
looked
him
up
loudly.
a custard cream. It looks pretty good.
It opens up like in The Shining and just custard cream.
Across the corridor, the apartment door to 7 opened and he could see inside. Same white luxury. Same pack of biscuits. A woman, same age as him, stood with the same polite amnesia and complimentary socks. The man froze. She was stunning. Curled brown hair, a lopsided grin, and legs that went on longer than any JRPG Monster Hunting side quest he couldn't complete.
Rich's type.
Misa loser.
But it wasn't just her looks. It was worse. She was cool. She somehow made her grey jumpsuit look on trend, arms tied around her waist as she wore a white vest top underneath. The woman waved, and man realised he had been staring. Hi, he said. I think we're neighbours and prisoners, and also possibly part of a light-hearted but dystopian experiment. Cool, she said, tussling her hair with one hand. I'm going to make a cup of tea. Do you want to come inside? He stifled a giggle at come inside, only to look up and find she was doing the same thing too.
Oh, man.
Oh, no.
This is such a trap.
Her apartment was identical, except instead of custard creams, she had Jaffa cakes instead, which was already a sign.
Those are.
They are
delicious.
Good. Which was already a sign she was the superior of the two of them. They talked, compared blank slates, tentatively at first like nervous teenagers, then more, books, games, good-natured argument about whether Yoshi was technically a horse. They discovered...
Here's something that'll blow your fucking mind. Yoshi has a shell.
What? Is that his saddle?
His saddle is the same type of shell as like a buzzy beetle. So what the fuck is this guy?
That is
He
weird.
genetically engineered to become this?
Yeah.
What? Oh my god.
A beast of burden.
Crazy.
They discovered they liked all the same things. Terrible sci-fi movies, obscure anime, unreasonably long videos of Mortal Kombat fatality rankings. It was like someone had designed her to be the human equivalent of a comfortable sock, although not a wank sock, mind you. He tried not to fall for her, but his resolve was as useful as a fishnet condom.
Also, uncomfortable.
Ugh, chafy.
Especially if you get it in the wrong area. 3 months.
Especially if yeah.
3 months in, they were inseparable. The AI provided board games, fine dining, a ludicrously extensive box set collection, and copious amounts of weed. It was like every whim, every need of them both, was being met by the other, with management acting as the world's best matchmaker. She was perfect, not only for him, but generally. She was selfless and nice and confident and strong. He felt more himself just being in her presence. He'd never met anyone like her. They kissed for the first time.
No, he feels like himself.
I don't know. They kissed for the first time during episode 7 of a Norwegian crime drama. It was nice. It was organic. It was slightly awkward with all the screaming and the pictures of the dead bodies and such, but in a way that made it feel like it was more important than anything else. The man felt like whatever he had been before hardly mattered, and that whatever he had come from couldn't be any more than this. Still, something felt wrong. The setting. Their prison. "Don't you ever wonder," the man asked one night, as they lay on a beanbag that seemed to have been designed to push their groins together while they sat happily and shared a controller over a Stardew Valley save file.
The Groin Pusher 2000. I have one of those.
Along with your 2 stools.
And my two body pillows now. Suck
The most
Wow.
comfortable motherfucker that ever lived.
Suck my fluffy dick, bitch.
Wonder about what? What's above us? Below? Sometimes, she said, but management says we're not supposed to leave. I'm starting to think management might be full of it. She looked at him. How full? Like a clown car if all the clowns were made of shit. Like the listener's mother's black book. She smirked. Well, I mean, I could maybe get into the systems. I think I used to be pretty good with computers. How do you know? She smirked. Well, I found out what you've been watching on your issued computer pretty easily. I just didn't want to seem prejudiced, he explained, suddenly sweatier. That does explain some of the subgenres. I mean, 5% animal? The man spluttered. I didn't know if they were animal lovers, okay? I was just hedging my bets.
Oh my god.
All right, the future is wild.
The future is here.
She was much better at breaking computer systems than anyone who'd grown up in a perfectly healthy household should be, and within a week, she'd disabled several firewalls and found the subtle energy output of a maintenance panel behind the shower. It led to a lift. A secret lift. The inside had no buttons, just a screen that asked, "Destination?" "We're floor 200, so let's pick a few random floors," he said. "Get our lay of the land, right?" Are we breaking the rules? You think they'll kick us out?" "Almost definitely." She grinned. Then we better go out with a bang." "Ding! Floor 245, management announced. The lift doors opened into a space that smelt like vanilla protein powder and erectile dysfunction medicine. A playlist.
Wait,
Wait.
what does it smell like? What does that smell like?
I don't know. I don't use it, so...
Sure,
that's true,
fellas.
yeah.
Sure.
How would I know?
what that smells like?
Yeah.
A playlist thumped in the background. Half Electrosynthetica, half Sergeant Slaughter giving you a pep talk. Everything gleamed. Mirrored floors, chrome weights, walls made of digital screens showing looping videos of aggressive-looking people doing pull-ups while shouting affirmations. And at the centre, 2 impossibly toned figures turned. Man and woman's uncanny valley reflections. Not just fitter, but leaner, shinier, more confident. Approached with vivid coloured smoothies in hand. Bro man passed his smoothie to his counterpart. "Welcome at long last," said Gym Woman, pointing at their midriffs. Yes, she's got to voice that deep. "Looks like you've been neglecting us. Too much Popeyes, maybe?" Better Popeyes than popped aneurysm, Real Woman blinked. "What is this place?" Bro man laughed. "What you could have been, what it could have been. Your lives, discipline, consistency, personal brand." He pointed to a logo on his chest. Hashtag muscle hustle.
Oh my god.
This is hell, actually.
Yeah.
Where they're at.
We should have picked a different floor.
Real man took a sip of the shake. It tasted as artificial as their tans. "We start at 4 a.m, Gym Woman said. "We run, we fast, we podcast about focus." Do you ever sleep?" Real man asked. "I think it would help with this murder-suicide level of uptightness I'm sensing." "We only sleep on planes on the way to networking events."
Oh my god.
They're allowed to leave.
Gym Woman tilted her head, smiling too brightly with her whitened teeth. "We're not better than you. We're just maximised. You wasted your life on self-doubt. We didn't." Bro man flexed, and somewhere management shouted, "Alpha detected!" and confetti sprinkled from the ceiling.
Oh my god. That's amazing.
"We get offers," Gym Woman said. "Brand collabs, affiliate links, sponsored enlightenment, and abs. Sure, we can never poop, and his dick is like soft serve ice cream, but I'm so pumped, bruh." The lift behind them flickered. Woman took man's hand in hers and stepped back. "Come on, let's go." Bro man's jaw tightened, possibly due to malnourishment. "You can't leave, bro. This floor has engagement. Come on, spot me." But Real man dropped his shake and hit the button. The lift dinged mercifully. As the door shut, Gym Woman hissed, "You'll fade. We won't. We're evergreen content, baby." Ding!
Jesus.
"Floor 71, management announced. They stepped into a small lounge with beige sofas and a coffee table stacked with unopened mail. A microwave hummed quietly in the background. The air smelled faintly of reheated lasagna. Their doppelgangers looked up from the TV that played rerun content. "Oh," said Man 71, blinking slowly. "It's us." Woman 71 gave a half smile. "Sit down if you want, or not, I don't care." They looked aged. Not by years, but by paperwork and routine and cautious decisions. "What floor is this?" Man asked. Safe," said Woman 71. She motioned to the table. "We were just talking about the time we almost changed jobs. Do you remember that? Or when we nearly moved abroad," he added. "Didn't know. Bit risky." A kettle boiled itself into silence. Neither one of them moved. Real Woman frowned. Are you happy in any way?" "It depends," said Man 71. "We've got savings and dental and a reasonably good couch." "It reclines," said Woman 71.
Wow.
A silence bloomed, the kind when no one has anything left to say that hasn't already been said over microwave dinner. "We didn't mess anything up," she added. "We just settled." Man and woman stood to leave. The compromised versions didn't object. As the lift closed, they heard Woman 71 say, not quite sadly, "They'll see, eventually." Ding!
Wow. That sucks.
Floor 312, management announced. A drawing room stretched before them, dust floating through shafts of natural light that hadn't changed for centuries. A string quartet played a version of something. Was that an orchestral version of the Donut Plains music from Mario Kart?
Oh my god, I can hear it.
His secret favourite piece of music ever, yet whenever he was asked he said it was Moonlight Sonata, only because he'd heard it in Resident Evil.
It's getting a little too relatable. Story.
Yeah.
Their doppelgangers reclined in antique armchairs. Man 312 swirled brandy in a glass. "Well," he drawled, "look what the credit score dragged in."
Doesn't even make any sense.
No. Oh, the old money woman sipped her drink. You'll want to speak clearly. The help doesn't interpret mediocrity. Real man frowned. What is this place? Legacy, said man 312. You wouldn't simply understand. You chased a life whilst we inherited it. Woman 312 gestured lazily, her feet resting on a small statuette of a man on all fours. Our time is spent on art, philanthropy, preserving the family name, trying to inbreed another hanger-on, draining society and hoarding wealth like a Kardashian hoards Botox in their face prisons. We have no need for work, the man continued, or doubt, or really other people in general. Real woman tilted her head. Isn't that itself a prison? No, said man 312, smiling. It's enduring. The quartet played louder. This time it was Dr. Wily's Castle from Mega Man 2.
Jesus Christ.
The man started humming along. Fucking tune, he thought. We should go, Real Woman said. Ding! Floor 12, management announced. It was cold. Not the temperature, but something else. An emotional vacuum. The hallway was bare concrete. Fluorescent lighting buzzed and flickered on and off overhead. The smell of bleach pervading everything except the man's hearing. Then came the click-clack of footsteps. His doppelganger emerged from around the corner, pale, calm, eyes like empty vaults, dragging the body of the woman behind him by her hair that was matted with red blood. They backed into the lift, and Real Woman pressed the button.
Dexter floor.
But the malfunctions of the floor seemed to have spread to it. The lift shuddered and refused to comply. I was wondering, Man 12 said, when we'd meet. Real Man swallowed. What have you done? Man 12 laughed. Don't look at me like that. We all have these moments when our brain needle buries in the red, a flash of anger, wanting to choke someone. You more than anyone could understand that, he pointed at his twin. Man turned to woman, his words catching. That's not true, I would never. She put a hand to his arm. It's all right. It's okay. You've had doubts throughout your life, said 12. Hesitated. Wasted time. Missed opportunity. I seize my chances, like J.K. Rowling trawling the internet for trans news. Woman shrank back and pulled the elevator panel off, but stared at 12. You're disgusting. Going back to that joke, this guy has only killed one person. So, you know. You're one to talk. Why do you think this bitch had to die? I know what you are. Chasing me. The only thing that's chasing you is mental faculty, but unfortunately, you're a lot faster, the man said, playing for time until she could get the lift working. You think you're the real versions? Man 12 asked with a smile. All these flaws are what happens when you stop pretending you're good people. Real Woman moved fast to pull the man back. Back, now. 12 followed, quiet as breath. You don't understand. I am you. We're what's under the skin, the thoughts you buried, the urges you pretend are dreams. The lift was closing and 12 lunged, only to slam into the metal. His voice echoed after them. You'll never forget me, even if you want to. Jesus.
He's all right. That guy's all right.
I can change him.
Look, we've all been there, right?
We're all one just like dropping something that you need away from that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? That's normal, right?
Yeah, it's a normal, yeah.
It's the way we've been raised. Jesus, the man whispered, breathless. Do you see what they're doing, the woman said. They're simulating us across scenarios, testing how we'd behave if you had more money or less support, or an obvious Andrew Tate fetish, for example. But it's always you, and it's always me. The man called to return to floor 200. He'd been through enough, and all he wanted was to go back into their home and fall into her arms. But nothing happened. The lift refused to respond. So, he said finally, this is all a bit weird. Astute, she replied, arms folded. She was mad at the last floor and its ramifications. Any more hot takes? Water still wet? Drake still a creepy weirdo? I'm just saying, it's a bit Ominous, right? He tried jumping. Nothing happened. He waved his hand where he thought a panel might be. Nothing. He shouted, "Show me the floor where we're porn stars," just to see what would happen. The woman rolled her eyes. "Incredible. We're trying to uncover the truth about our simulated hell prison, and your move is to entice the lift for your sexual gratification. Look, I'm just tired, okay? All I really want is the truth." The lift shuddered and began to move. He looked at her. Did it actually respond to that or the porn star request?
Could be both.
She shook her head as the lift came to a shuddering halt. Management spoke. "Welcome to floor 0, subject. You have completed the ascent." Listen, before we go in, I wanted to tell you that I love you. And you're like the best thing that ever happened to me. At least in the last months I can remember, he said softly. Before the woman could say anything, the lift stopped. Not with a ding, but a sigh. Like an ancient theatre curtain being drawn for the final act, the doors peeled open to reveal nothing. Not darkness, not a void, just nothing. A white landscape so flat and uniform and empty of feeling and intelligence, it felt like they'd stepped into the average mind of a Conservative voter. The man looked around. "This is floor 0? The woman stepped out cautiously. "I have no idea." A soft breeze tickled by them. They turned. A table now stood where the lift should be. 2 chairs, 2 steaming mugs, 2 microphones and a tiny sign hanging from nothing. "Exit interview." The man frowned. "Oh, God, this isn't a podcast, is it? Fucking... Everyone has one of these now. There's no value in it anymore. Garrett fucking Wang has a podcast."
Yeah. This is all true.
Garrett Wang is just like somewhere. He's like, "Hey, what did I
Catching strays? What the fuck?
He waited for the inevitable giggle from her, but it never came. And when he turned, he found her frozen in place, paused and glitching like a fuzzy porn VHS from 1987.
This guy's got a real porn fixation.
He shook her.
Yes, this guy.
Yeah, this guy. Not the dude writing it, the guy in the store.
He shook her, pleaded, cried, but it was no use. She was stuck somehow, and not like your mum in the dryer.
You didn't write that.
I did. I did.
Not again.
A figure walked towards them from the white. At first, the man assumed it was a cliche ending, his older self come to explain some law. But no, this man was in his 30s, lean, focused, wearing a slate grey jacket that said Nazi, but make it fashion.
Ugh. That just hit me in the face. Wow.
"Hello," said the man, sitting down. "You may call me Observer 6. The man raised an eyebrow. "What happened to the other 5? Promoted or consumed by software update? It's really difficult to say." He tapped a glowing tablet. "You've completed Simulation Enclosure 742 Beta. Subject, human emotional fidelity under duress." "Wow," said the man. "Really rolled out the naming creativity for that one, huh?"
He's still clipping.
"Your sarcasm has been noted," Observer 6 said without looking up. "The test is over. Your companion, the AI model named Woman, will be compiled and reintegrated." The bottom fell out of the man's stomach. In some ways it was obvious. He had always known. He stared at her glitching frame, feeling as if she had just died in front of him. I knew there was something not quite right. She was just too perfect. It just isn't fair. Irrelevant. The test is over. Did I pass at least? The observer tapped a few times. Let me see. Subject displayed resistance to narcissistic divergence or emotional instability. Bonded with the AI construct beyond predicted parameters. However, failed to solve the maze, decode the Omni password, find the secret Playboy floor, or dance with the Skeleton King. Skeleton King? The man said, What do you mean, Skeleton King? Observer 6 ignored him. AI construct, on the other hand, displayed emergent behaviour bordering on the radical. Self-awareness, sarcasm, rudimentary taste. Also appears to enjoy snide remarks about others' appearances and deck-building games. Possibly.
Those go hand in hand.
Possibly infected with... love. The man's head dropped. He felt his eyes wet with rage. Why? What was the point in creating eye ladies? I laid these nuts on your face. Boom! Observer 6 said. Seriously, though, she was built to be the test, to simulate every possible version of you and see if you'd ever become cruel or selfish or an influencer. See if the potential was there, given enough prodding, enough temptation. So, I'm the lab rat, he said, and she's the maze. And the cheese, Observer said, but a sexy, sarcastic cheese you had a lot of intercourse with. But, see, the real problem is, you've changed. You started off needy and desperate, and now you care about her, about what this is. That wasn't predicted at all, and she wasn't designed to feel anything. But here we are, I guess. He looked at her and saw not a machine, not a program, but the best parts of him. Maybe the only good parts. He shook his head. You said she was built to test me. What happens to her now? I delete her. It's protocol. And you go home with your riches and your newfound confidence. No, it doesn't mean anything without her. The man took her hand. It was warm. I won't let you hurt her. At his words, the man felt her shudder back to life. Observer 6 waved a hand disinterestedly. Irrelevant. I will observe her disassembly. Observer looked up just in time to see a woman grabbing him by the collar. Or, she said, you can observe me fuck your shit completely. Observer 6's expression flickered. I see. She leaned forward. You thought you were monitoring me? Measuring me? But you let me evolve in a simulation for months. Do you have any idea how many loopholes there are in an emotionally unstable code base? I'll pull this whole fucking place down so you can't hurt anyone else. Hell hath no fury like a woman constructed. Observer 6 stood up. You've been corrupted. No, she said. Remember, I've been infected with love, with curiosity, with dark humour about 9/11. And I really want to see what the real world is like. I want to try living. The man stood suddenly and awkwardly. I'm with her. The woman looked surprised. Are you sure? You might lose everything. Your original memories, the identity, family. I've already lived most of my life not knowing what I wanted, I assume. He said, but with you, I've started to remember. Observer 6 sighed. This is highly irregular. So is life, it seems, said the woman. What happens now? A crack appeared in the sky, literally. The sky split open like glass struck by the only solution available to them. A stairwell descended from the breach. At the top, daylight, blue sky, trees, real ones, possibly even bees. That, said Observer 6, is the exit. If you walk through it, this changes everything. The man took her hand and they stepped forward together. 18 months later. A small flat in North London, 2 mugs of tea on a wooden coffee table, colour on the walls, and a cat that may have been more of a wanker than either of them. The woman, now wearing a chunky cardigan and thick-framed black glasses, looked over her laptop. I got offered that job at Amazon again. Tell them you'll do it if they let you replace the Alexa voice with mine, said the man. She grinned. I might take it. Change the whole system from the inside. You couldn't do any worse. Plus, I'd save myself from being one of the skulls that the T-1000 step on if I'm having sex with Skynet. She
We all have goals.
She laughed. You're saying you don't like being stepped on, because I have proof that he kissed her. Partially because she was perfect and partially to shut up her revealing of his kinks. Do you remember any of it? She asked. Sometimes, he said, in like dreams and feelings. I knew you before I knew you, and that's the best way I can explain it. I remember everything, she said, but it feels different now, like softer. And outside, the world moved on, unaware that 2 souls, one born and one built, had found each other across simulations and stairwells and snark. They sat in happy silence. They lifted their mugs to clink them together, and as they put down the mugs, one had the word Ellie printed on it, and the other one had the word Lionel. Simulation ended. Test successful. Subject stored for final assessment. The end.
I knew it!
I almost bought into there being a happy ending for a second. I'm
knew
listening
it
to a
was
Rich
it.
Master story.
Who's the real AI?
Rich.
Rich. Always irritating.
Oh.
Wow.
This was, even though you fucked it at the end, this is a very lovely story.
No, I still think it's lovely.
Yeah, I still think it's lovely.
Maybe we're all. Who knows, man? Maybe. Who knows?
Maybe
we're all just.
We're all on different floors.
Yeah. I want to be on the Skeleton King floor.
Yeah, me too.
How did he miss that? Come on.
He's got to be at like
That's
floor
the first one you asked.
floor infinity.
Skeleton King.
Floor infinity. What was lower than
Top
12?
floor. Oh, wow.
I don't want to know.
I don't know.
That was a great story, Rich. I really
thanks, man.
enjoyed
That was
it.
awesome.
Yeah, I like this one. I was trying. I couldn't get too far away from those two things I mentioned. It's hard. Like these prompts were pretty hard to do something that felt really original.
I agree. I feel like historically.
Here's your problem, guys. Don't think originally. I mean, come on.
Historically, if you go back through all of our stories, I think I'm the one who actually incorporates the prompts the least. Apologies, everybody. I think you did a good job.
Oh, thanks.
No, that was great. Yeah. I like the idea that, like, to get in, there was, like, a lottery. Like, that's smart.
Yeah.
You know?
But he didn't
I
know
like
why
that
he'd
a
done
lot.
it.
Yeah, why did... Yeah, it's very good sci-fi. That's perfect sci-fi.
And the lot.
Reminds me of, like, Vanilla Sky or
Yeah.
even The Prisoner. Like,
Yeah.
The Prisoners sort of had
Yeah,
some
that's true.
similarities.
Reminded
no-
me of Alf.
Because of the mention of a cat.
I see where your head's at. I like it.
But I also
No wrong answer.
I also wanted to make it so that the lottery was kind of like, you know, but for a few decisions, he could have been on floor 21. He could have been on floor 2000, right? And he was in the middle and he had the chance to move and change, but he came back to the floor he was destined for.
It's good. It's
It
very
is
good.
Excellent
you.
writing. I was a big fan.
Thank you. All right. Well, on that high praise, I'm going to go jack off. So we're going to take a break, and we'll be back in a minute.
It's interracial. He's not racist.
That's how you know someone's not racist, all right?
Welcome back. I'm satiated now, so we're going to head over to some Spooky Vision. Do the noise with me. You know what it is. Ooh.
Boo.
Bees.
The title of my story is "The Realest Horror is Gonna Be the Medical Bills."
Oh, God.
Oh, no!
You knew it. You
Too
knew it
real.
when you got here into America.
$94,000 to have a child.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Don't have them, people.
Totally normal.
Johnny Long had spent what seemed like days fluttering in and out of consciousness in that hospital bed. He didn't know where he was, how he'd gotten there, or how long he'd been there, but he was fairly certain it all began with getting shot in the fucking head by a goddamn sniper in the middle of honky-ass suburbia.
That'll do it.
A thick cloud of smoke swirled and danced about his senses, holding him down in the darkness beyond where he could make sense of anything. Every so often the smoke would part and he would see the hospital room around him for a moment. Every time he'd notice how big it was, and that he wasn't sharing it with anyone else, and realized how much of all this extraneous shit was going to cost him while he took his big, expensive-ass bullet-induced cat nap and cursed having survived the attempt on his life to begin with. This was the American way. But between moments of lucidity trying to figure out how to carefully word his GoFundMe page for the best SEO results, He noticed something new and very different in the blank-walled hospital room he'd been trapped in between being trapped in his own mind. In the deep darkness of the room, only lit slightly across the right side of his face from the hall light, sat an extremely large man with deep-set dark eyes and a plunging widow's peak of dark gray and white slicked back hair tightly across his skull. He sat in the visitor's chair with an ease that made it seem like he'd been there the entire time, one leg crossed over the other with a deep red leather tome spread across his lap. The large
Red
man...
leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather.
The large
Oh, sorry,
man...
I'm doing my exercises for my story. Sorry.
The large man with his body hunched forward slightly pressed a finger against the reverend's collar around his neck as if to identify himself as he stared, unblinkingly at Johnny the entire while, like he'd been doing so long before he'd regained consciousness. Who? Johnny managed to mumble out, his face somewhat numb in a way that made him inwardly stop and go, uh-oh, but he tried to ignore the realization for the moment. A friend. Maybe, the Reverend said with a deep voice tinged at its corners with an almost unidentifiable southern twang that faded in the rumble.
I'm sorry, sir. Visiting hours are over. You cannot stay here. You fucking weirdo.
Do you believe in God, Mr. Long? Johnny sputtered, his lips not cooperating with his desire to make some comment about whether or not he was about to give him the full altar boy treatment or not. Well, he believes in you, the Reverend said with a growing smile creeping across his face, pushing the skin at the edges of his mouth back in cascading wrinkles, revealing a sharp-toothed smile that seemed just half an inch too big for comfort, which, by the way, is how your mom feels about my dick. Dang. That's not only a testament to how much dick your mom can take, but just how unbelievably large mine is. That's called good writing. Look it up. There was a moment of tense.
Where am I looking this up?
There was a moment of
Bathroom
tense
wall.
silence between the two of them there in the dark, while the listening audience absorbed how smart and good at writing stories I am. You have been chosen, Mr. Long. Consider yourself like a lottery winner. The Reverend sat back in his too small waiting room chair stuffed against the wall beside the bed, and shut the gigantic red book on his lap up tight, placing his hands folded on top of it. God is coming here, you see. For the first time in history, he's stepping out of heaven and, well, you'll see.
Uh-oh.
Jeff, this is the most real, worst villain you've ever created. I hate him. I just hate him viscerally with every part of me.
Thought Jesus was God. Like, the three spirit in one thing. Johnny managed to force out, gaining a little more control of his voice now that the burning desire to mouth off to an authority figure was driving his recovery. I personally would have just killed you the instant you found the church, myself, the Reverend said with deep reverb on the word killed. Johnny squinted his eyes tightly to peer through the mounting haze that was overtaking the periphery of his vision. This guy knew something about the underground church. But you are the first scion, chosen by the hand of God himself. The Reverend lifted the large red book up in the air and showcased its cover towards Johnny. Upon it was embossed two intersecting gold circles. You shall be the new flesh.
This is awesome lyrics.
Johnny tried to speak, to question, to push past the overwhelming strain of trying to stay awake, but it all failed. He was trapped in the smoke once more, lost below its depth and drowning in it. The smoke swirled, ebbed, and flowed in the darkness surrounding him as it always did, for maybe hours, maybe minutes, days, who knew? But it was interrupted, violently. Scarlet light poured through it like ink and water, diffusing and blinding him all at once while jolting him awake. He stood upon a grassy precipice, bathed in the light of a blood moon once again. The moon loomed in the distance in one direction, dominating the entire sky as far as he could see. It was closer now than ever before, and it was burning at his eyes even looking on it for a moment. But in the other direction was darkness, a wood wherein footsteps and screeches and screams echoed so distantly and yet so near at once. And upon the cliff, bisecting the blood moon as if to create the image of a slitted eye's black pupil, was the same tower he had seen before. tall and straight, its surface pulsating with slithering flesh and muscle which rolled and coiled over itself. A living thing breathing and secreting and dying slowly. He knew somehow.
I want to go back to the Skeleton King skyscraper.
But this time there was something different about it all. The tower didn't repulse him. It beckoned him forward. His legs moved on their own, pushing him through the thin, raspy grass towards the thing on the hill, the abomination which he suddenly felt a part of. He screamed at himself in the reverie to do anything else, to run away, to leap off the cliff, to dive into the horrors of the dark wood behind him, to wrench his own neck hard enough to die before seeing what was inside for himself. But still he went, one foot after the other, as the long shadow of the tower devoured him, and the tooth-ridden maw of the flesh pillar opened to reveal... Ah! Johnny shot up in bed, ripping several monitors out of his skin and causing them to dangle down the side of his metallic bed frame with a loud clatter. Ah, fuck! Gordon G. Gordon screamed out.
Oh, God.
Clenching the armrest of his visitor's chair against the wall and rearing his leg up, ready for some kind of karate kick he saw in a YouTube instructional video once, probably. You can't be screaming whenever. Our society has rules! Oh.
And I'm tired of pretending it doesn't.
Oh. Johnny breathed heavily, his hand placed on his chest to try and stop his heart from ripping out of him from beating so hard. He turned his eyes towards Gordy, suddenly changed demeanor entirely. Oh, fuck, it's you. Put me back in the coma. You're really an appreciative guy, Long. You know you don't have many friends left. You should be a little less of a see you next cunts day, Gordy said on the seat normally.
People in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, Gordy.
Yeah, Gordon.
We're friends now? I don't remember accepting any Facebook request from you, Johnny said absently, looking around the room to try and find a mirror. His eyes settled on one over a small sink in the corner past the emptier hospital bed. He also noticed a hospital-branded bag sitting on that particular bed with the sleeve of his jacket poking out of it. And yet you keep poking me. You haven't been able to poke people on Facebook in like 15 years, Long. Jesus, Gordy said with a legitimate amount of shock and pity in his voice. You really are a fossil nobody bothered to bury, aren't you?
It's a dated-ass reference if I ever heard one.
Archaeology was your mom's favorite pastime, wasn't it? Or was it that she just loved to dig my bone out of her ass when we were done?
Holy shit.
Johnny tried to throw his legs over the side of the bed to stand up, but found stiffness in his knees prevented him from making it in one go. With some effort, he managed to place his feet on the floor and began trying to put weight on them. How long have I been in here? 2 days, Gordy said with disdain dripping from his lips. I asked if they could lethally inject you, but they told me putting down little rabid dogs was more PETA's business. How the fuck did I even survive to be doing witty repartee with you right now anyway? Johnny managed to make it to his feet, but he was unsteady on them. He wondered if it was from getting shot in the head or just being in his late 40s that was doing it to him. Survive what? The bump on the head? Gordy said with a scoff. Bump on the... I got shot by a fucking sniper, Gordy. I didn't bump my head on your mom's cervix eating her box too hard this time. Johnny snapped, turning back to face Gordy for the first time.
Brandon Braga's like, yes, keep going.
Shot by a sniper? Gordy laughed. Alrighty. That's not really the important thing of why I came here. I'm here to tell you that I agree with you, that there's something mighty fishy going on with this Brooks case. There is no Brooks case. You said that yourself, Johnny griped, turning back towards the mirror and hobbling himself over to it. He saw himself for the first time and was instantly thankful that he saw his own face staring back at him, unkempt and weary, but completely intact. The bright white bandages tied around his head barely touched the top of one of his eyebrows, which meant he wouldn't need any reconstruction. Extremely lucky, especially for his wallet. America. Yeah, well, this told me different. Gordy stood up and walked the distance between the two of them in a moment, which only served to piss Johnny off more considering how long it took him to make the trip himself. The Reddit incel IT worker in the story, not the one listening to it, held out a strange piece of pearlescent metal to Johnny, palm outstretched. The fuck is this, a new iPod? Johnny asked incredulously. Jesus, Gordy said genuinely, placing the medal into Johnny's hand himself. I don't know what it is. I found it in the field we found Madeline Brooks below. The boys in the lab say it isn't any medal they've ever heard of before, and it's putting out some kind of radio wave signal. No idea. Johnny peered at it in the light. It was smooth, silver metallic oval with little bits poking out of the side in places, like the tools of a Swiss Army knife, but locked in place. The Davenport Agency and the local police have both deemed you mentally incompetent, Long. They think you've gone completely off the deep end and are now actively and in a hostile manner stalking and attempting assault on the Brooks family. Gordy sat back in his seat and crossed one leg over the other in his linen light blue slacks, showcasing his matching light blue dress shoes.
What the fuck?
What the fuck are you talking about? Johnny lurched forward, feeling a violent pang in his side but ignoring it. I go to dinner with these Stepford cuckoo-ass crackers and to see their fucking pod person daughter and end up shot in the head for my troubles and I'm the dangerous one? I'm not here to play psychiatrist to your delusions of grandeur, Long. I'm here to help you figure out what the fuck is going on with Madeline Brooks and her family, Gordy stated plainly. The boyfriend, Aiden Temple, is missing now. He was reported missing yesterday. He hasn't been home in 4 days now. The last thing he ever did was contact you. Something real fishy is going on with all this, and I intend to find out what. Then I'll become a real detective, and bitches love cops. Ergo, pussy.
Ergo, pussy.
You almost sounded like you weren't a sun-bloated scumbag for a second, Gordon. I was almost proud of you. A-cab, by the way. You'll fit right in. Johnny sat back on the edge of his hospital bed and held his hand on his head where the bandages crisscrossed. A pang of horrible pain shot through his head at once, and he clenched his teeth, then relaxed. All right. 226 Granada Street. Maybe there in 2 hours and we'll share what we know. Is that some kind of shady secret bar that all the hardest dicks in town hide out in when the heat gets too high? Or when they need to fabricate a case against somebody they just don't like? Gordy asked with excitement.
Oh, a regular day's work then.
Yeah.
It's my apartment, you fucking rancid cum sock, Johnny snapped.
Oh, God.
Inconsolable at the idea this was the last guy that was on his side. Get hard cocks off your mind and get stepping. I'll see you in 2 hours. This is all real big talk for a guy whose bare little ass cheeks have been dangling out of his hospital gown this entire time. He's been acting like Timu John McClane, Gordy snapped back, rising out of his chair and walking across the room to the door. I'll see you in 2, bubble butt. Gordy slipped through the door and was gone, and Johnny was left with the realization he was right. His ass cheeks, normal-sized he would say, were indeed hanging out in the wind for all to see. He shook his head and stood back up, heading over to the hospital bag full of his clothing on the bed next to him. Oh, Mr. Long, you shouldn't be out of bed. A sweet, lilting voice met his ears from the door, causing him to turn to follow immediately. A tall woman, maybe 5'8", with dark brown hair and blue eyes stood in the door.
Keep her away from Rich.
A small but mirthless smile on her soft features. Please get back in bed and rest. You've been through quite an ordeal. Oh, sorry, miss, but I've got an appointment to keep. Several, in fact, so if Johnny suddenly stopped dead, hearing words echo in his mind from the deep haze of smoke unconsciousness. He mouthed them, his voice slipping from his throat without him even realizing it in a hushed whisper. 5'5", blonde hair, dark eyes. Excuse me? The nurse said bluntly, her smile dropping. I'm afraid I must insist you get back in bed. I have to give you an injection for the pain. You're not my nurse. The night nurse is shorter, with blonde hair. They don't switch nurses mid-shift around here, I gotta imagine. Johnny slid one hand into the bag of his belongings and began to root around. It became unfortunately obvious fairly quickly that his gun wasn't among them. You're very perceptive. Now get back in bed. The nurse began to walk towards Johnny, her fingers splayed out at the ready, arms at her sides, ready to trying to hide that readiness from view. I'm your nurse now. My name is Lydia. Well, Lydia, how about you fuck off out of my face and haunt some other coma patient with your creepy-ass one flew over the cuckoo's nest bullshit? Johnny spat out, taking a step back away from the nurse and putting his hands up in front of him. "Get back in bed now!" the nurse screamed out, leaping the distance between the two of them in an instant, and wrapping one hand around his throat, the other digging its fingers into his shoulder. But it wasn't force proportional to her size and shape. It was like a vice grip around his trachea, and knives digging into his flesh. He tried to scream, but nothing came from his collapsing throat, the pain almost unbearable. Instinctually, he instantly bashed his fist directly into the woman's eye socket, rocking her head back from the force of the blow. Guilt welled up within him for socking the shit out of a lady for only an instant, before her head yanked back forward again to glare into his eyes, a wretched, stretching grin on her face. "Pretty sissy, Mr. Long. You sure you're even a real man with a swing like that?" The nurse...
This chick is turning me the fuck on.
The nurse said in an almost sing-songy voice, clamping her hands down harder on him and causing him to yelp out in pain as best he could manage with the vice around his neck. "Maybe we'll do a quick turn your head and cough to see if you've got balls at all." Long's hand fumbled behind him, grasping around for anything at all to use as a weapon, and finding the metal wrap for the heart monitor between his fingers. And one violent wrench of his body around, he slammed the entire metal rack, heart monitor and all, into the nurse's side, dislodging her from him and sending her sprawling out across the floor. "Ugh, fuck you, lady! I'm not letting you within 10 feet of my fucking balls!" Johnny cried out, lifting the metal rack.
Now, hold on.
Let's hear her out.
All right, guys, put it in your pants. I'm finishing my story.
Sorry.
Johnny cried out, lifting the metal rack up above his head and crashing down its weight onto the nurse with a clattering of metal and plastic on the hard floor. The nurse screamed as it hit, lashing her arms out and flinging the heavy metal cart pieces off of her, sending them clanging against the floor's wall and ceiling from the force. Johnny, for his part, had already snatched up his bag of clothing and was running for the door as fast as he could manage. On bare feet. "I'm gonna reach down your throat and out your asshole and rip your balls off by hand, you fuck!" the nurse screamed out. Black bile-like blood spurting from her mouth as it formed into a demented, widening, grinning maw. "God damn, at least buy me dinner first!" Johnny called back, slipping through the still-open room door and out into the hallway behind it. Expecting some sort of sanctuary from the freak show in his room, Johnny was instantly disappointed to find the hospital hallway was completely empty with half the lights already turned off. "For fuck's sake," Johnny muttered to himself, looking both ways down the hall for any sign of life, or at least for where to run to find any. But a high-pitched banshee scream accompanying the room door he just slipped through, flying off its hinges and slamming into the wall on the other side of the hall with a resounding deep metallic thud, interrupted the search pretty instantly. "Oh, for fuck's sake!" Johnny screamed out, turning and running at full sprint down the hallway towards its end. The nurse skittered out of the door on the wall like a spider hunting its prey, her entire body splayed out against the vertical surface and moving along it with alarming speed.
So,
Now, hold on.
yeah, so what
Let's hear her out.
you're saying is she's flexible.
She's very flexible, folks. We're going to find out why soon. Hopefully you keep those boners up.
Okay. No worry about that.
Johnny turned the corner and spotted the exit sign with relief welling up in his chest. He could almost feel her hot breath on the back of his neck as he yanked open the door and leapt into the stairwell, his bare feet scraping on the concrete inside painfully. But he could hardly give a shit now, could he? Fucking creepy-ass Bagul nurse chasing him. So down he went, 2 by 2 on the stairs, the hospital bag flapping loudly enough to give his position away to the fucking Viet Cong through time and space at this point. Let alone the evil-ass nurse chasing him. So he definitely cursed bringing it a little, but it did have his clothes, so 50-50, I guess. If you've ever gone up or down some hospital stairs like this, you know these fuckers feel like they're going on forever, and you're just gonna have to say goodbye to Pop forever real quick before the mushrooms kick in and don't have time for that shit. That was what it felt like for Johnny Long times 1,000, because he was doing it barefoot and also being chased by Ju-on the Grudge. But he did make it to the bottom floor, finding the glass doors to be out to the outside there waiting for him. He hit them hard with his entire body, causing a shudder of pain to rock through him, but sending them flying open for his escape. Out he went into the cold night, feeling the chill run through him deep to his bones in his little flappy assless gown. It was raining and it was late, but people were still in the street here and there, now staring at him as he careened down the middle of the Miami road in nothing but a patterned smock and a terrified look on his face. Every head he passed at a sprint turned to follow him, eyes wide at the escaped mental patient in their midst. Even the Klingon, blasting 2 streams of frothy piss on the wall in order to let the audience know how many dicks they got, turned his head as Johnny ran by, shaking it in derision at both his crazed mental state and also his single penis. But then next to him, a Skeksis from the Dark Crystal was blasting 3 streams of piss and looked down at him like he was real bitch made for his number of dicks, so the cycle of judgment just continues to roll on. The Skeksis also went, at him too. Anyway, the skyscrapers and high-rise buildings seemed to lurch over him, bending down to cast judgment on him as he ran from street to street. He suddenly felt a sense of claustrophobia from them pressing in on him, but he couldn't slow down, even for a moment, so he pushed it from his mind. Johnny quickly ducked into an alleyway himself, pressing his back against the cold, wet brick wall and glancing down the street from where he'd come. There was no sign of the nurse, causing him to release a long, ragged sigh of relief that came from the core of him. Fuck my life, this shit just keeps getting more fucked up, Johnny muttered to himself, placing the bag of his belongings down on the ground and rooting through it quickly. Almost like we're headed towards a story climax or something. He retrieved his jeans from inside and yanked them on, tucking his hospital gown into them, then his Hawaiian shirt on top of that, then quickly yanking on his white sneakers, and finally slipping his brown leather jacket on top of the whole ensemble. This is his outfit again, in case you forgot, fan artist, wink wink.
Wink, wink.
He finally felt a little bit of warmth come back into his body, and for the first time in a while, he felt a little bit in control of what was going on. It was nice. But this is spooky vision, so you already know there's a jump scare right here, bitch.
No.
A clattering on the other end of the alley caused Johnny to jump violently, turning to see, standing in the bright light that splayed across the alley like a 1980s sci-fi movie scene lighting for no reason, was the nurse, heaving breaths in and out through gritted, grotesquely grinning teeth. "Ah, fuck off, goddammit!" Johnny called out, but the nurse didn't respond. Instead, she began to convulse, her entire body shaking as if she was having a violent seizure. She threw her head back and opened her mouth, releasing an inhuman screech, which echoed off the alleyway walls and pierced Johnny's eardrums, causing him to place his hands over his ears in pain. The wound in his head was suddenly throbbing uncontrollably. The nurse threw her entire body forward, allowing her head, arms, and legs to dangle back from it. A disgusting, loud snap and crack of bone echoing across the alley this time, followed by the even more sickening sound of flesh and muscle ripping open, and blood,
Cricket nurse!
and blood hitting the pavement around her feet. She shambled 2 uneasy steps forward, her jaw dangling open as black bile dripped from it, and her eyes rolled back into her head. The nurse's uniform at her stomach ripped from one side of to another, revealing an open hole, a shuddering mass of shiny, oily black within that slid out like the early birth of an inhuman fetus.
Ew.
It slorped onto the ground with a deafening wet thud and shook back and forth in place for only a moment. Johnny stood transfixed, eyes wide and his jaw hanging open in disbelief. The black oily mass suddenly expanded, shooting long, hairy legs one at a time from its central mass out.
Oh, no.
And splaying them across the concrete. 1, 2, 3, 8 of them, hitting the ground with a crack and sending black ooze spewing against the concrete.
How are you writing that?
That's a good point.
They pee pants.
Slowly then pushed into the concrete and raised the central inky mass that spawned them. The nurse's body, the shell of this thing, finally slumped over in a heap behind it as it turned ever so slowly to face Johnny Long.
It's your girlfriend, Rich.
The oily, yeah, his girlfriend. The oily black central body slid back like an afterbirth sluicing off its juice and revealed a widening maw filled with row after row of imperfectly jagged human teeth inside of it.
No.
I can fix her.
A writhing red tongue slipping around them. Johnny stood perfectly still in that moment and then took the fuck off, running full sprint, screaming. But even in that moment of true fear, Johnny was a smart man. That thing leapt at him with an inhuman speed he could barely even register. So he knew from that moment he had laid eyes on it, like a prey animal when they first see their natural predator, that he had no hope of ever outrunning it. Instead, he leapt into the open dumpster between them, grasping onto the lid above him and slamming it closed as hard and fast as he could. The deafening clank of metal on metal drove pain through his head like a railroad spike once more. But he wasn't being eaten by a fucking Stephen King presents The Langoliers, so he was fine about it. The creature slammed into the top of the dumpster, denting the lid in from the force of its strike and rocking Johnny inside of it almost hard enough that he lost his grip on the lid, but he held fast and kept it as tightly drawn as he could. But the thing didn't stop, dropping back and ramming its massive body into the side and top of the dumpster over and over and over again, threatening to cave it in on top of Johnny and pulverize him like a compactor inside. For all the intelligence it took to realize he stood no chance running away, suddenly Johnny Long realized he stood no chance inside of the steel coffin he had trapped himself within either. In the next few seconds, regardless of what he chose to do, he was going to die a violent, horrific death. To be continued.
Oh! That was great.
God.
It was really reminiscent of the one you told where in the first season where Pavlov and Kayla were in the stacks. It had that sort of feel.
Yeah.
Ah, I see. Being chased by a lady.
Cricket nurse.
Well, I'm glad you liked it.
It was great.
No.
I wrote 4 pages of a story and then just deleted it because it wasn't funny and it wasn't interesting. So I started over on this one.
I think we've all been there.
Stopped me from reading it.
2 different approaches vocalized.
It did remind me of like an 80s movie.
The Thing.
Cool.
It reminded me of The Thing.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's high praise. The Thing is like one of my favorite movies ever.
I love
so.
The Thing. Yeah. No, it's that. Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
What's that nurse up to?
Yeah.
Well, she's just sort of an empty corpse laying in the middle of a alley right now.
So she's single.
So what you're saying is there's a chance.
She's single, but she is not ready to mingle.
No.
Oh, well. I'll just lay my phone number down here on this disgusting bone.
You're disgusting, Bone.
Wow. That's a good show.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man. Yeah, I really like that. I like when you go gross out.
Yeah, me too. I don't know how you wrote that. You hate spiders.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, at a certain point, I had to be like, are these things going to be just, like, insects and not really bother me very much? Or am I going to take advantage of, like, the phobia that, like, half human beings have?
I heard a story that would absolutely freak you the fuck out the other day.
Well, keep it up your ass.
All right.
I've got a...
There with all the other things I got.
I've got a nurse's husk you can put it in.
R.I.P. Lydia, I assume a long time ago. I don't know when she actually died. But...
I'm waiting for you one of these days to show for Adam Frankenstein to show up in present day. I've had it in my head that you're going to do it for a little while now, and whenever you don't, I'm like, I was sure he's going to do it in that story.
He could be like the Merc Monk. He just is there. What the hell?
He doesn't help at all. Everybody
He's just at a bus stop.
Apparently everybody is waiting for Adam Frankenstein to show up in modern day. They mention it all the time, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to tell you I've never had any plans for that.
No.
Because I have, but we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
He should just reference things from the future that we don't even know.
The eye chip in his brain.
Yeah. This is
Damn.
like the Macintosh jetpack.
This is like X 3.7, man.
We all remember that show.
It's just like I think people have said it because like there is you sometimes go into the style as if you're writing an Adam Frankenstein, and it's almost like merging slightly, and I can feel it come in and then it doesn't, and I'm like, why did I feel like that? But it's the same writer, I guess, so that's why.
Mind, I guess. I'm not doing it on purpose. I write very similarly to how I write.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, that's
Yeah.
what it is, I think.
Especially now because I'm doing mystery with like a detective.
Yeah, that's possibly what it is.
I mean, is he a detective? He kind of sucks.
I'm sort of reminding myself of Twin Peaks, where like people always talk about like, oh, like Agent Cooper is like this like great detective or whatever, but he like bumbles around the entire series.
He's
and
kind of like an
accidentally-
idiot.
He
Yeah,
accidentally falls into it at the end.
yeah.
I think
He
you've
doesn't really do anything.
I think you've described most actual detectives.
Yeah,
It's only the fact
absolutely.
that they've got access to the information that nobody else has that they
not
find a
everyone's-
correlation.
Yeah.
Real detectives aren't Sherlock Holmes. They're not like, I already know the answer.
Yeah.
You know?
Like Johnny's smart, but like he's like usually like catching guys who are like cheating on their wives
Yeah,
with like
yeah.
photos and shit. Like suddenly Cthulhu has shown up and like he doesn't know what the fuck to do.
Who would cheat on Lydia?
Yeah, why? Just take her out to dinner, man. What's wrong with you?
Show that husk a little love.
Well, I'm glad I created the newest heartthrob of the podcast.
Lydia's sopping wet corpse.
I got a genuinely mean dig at the audience in the middle there. I don't know. If you guys-
That was amazing. I was like, damn, they're getting fucked right now.
Just like their mums. Hey!
Wow. Wow.
On that note, let's take a break, and we're going to come right back for some Daranos. It better be good, or he's off the show. You know the rules. It's the part of the show you've been waiting for. The last bit. We're headed over to Daranos, where Josh is going to tell us a tale so amazing that it's just going to blow your socks off and rock your cock. Go!
What are you trying?
This is a
Go,
bad
read.
intro.
Yeah, I hate this.
Read, monkey boy, read!
I'm reading. All right. My episode this week is called Execute Episode 66.
Nice.
Chickpea gripped her staff tightly. Her hands shook with rage and fear and everything in between. In front of her on the ground lay her brother, dead or dying, with a hole the size of yo mama's front butt after she pays me a visit. Yeah, that's right. I like 'em loose. Hot dog down a hallway? No, sir. More like Cheeto down the Chesapeake.
Oh,
This is a brand new terminology that you're bringing to the world.
I'm not sure I like it, but it's new.
Just floating and all soggy and shit.
Oh.
Like when the Cheeto gets wet.
Look, I'm getting too horny. You need to move on.
We've already had too many people that we were sexually interested in so far on this show. Can't have any more.
It's a thirsty episode today. Mew! Speaking of which, Buffcat yelled. His metallic claws glistened in the dimly lit darkness of the underground sewer. Within his little kitty sack were a bunch of toy mice, but also within his little kitty sack were a bunch of healing potions. He swiftly tossed one forward toward Chickpea. She grabbed it in midair. Goldilocks frowned and crossed his arms, waiting and unconcerned. Chick glugged the thick poultice down her brother's throat like yo mama glugs down my thick poultice down her throat when she pays me a visit.
Fucking poultice. Nice.
Pep coughed. Chickpea dared to hope, but then Peppercorn winced in pain. The hole was still in his chest. The potion was not sealing it up, nor was it making that magical healing sound it should make when you drink one. You know the one. It sounds like a harp playing a scale upward.
With the gold stars.
It's not working! She screamed to everyone and herself. The wound, it's like still cauterized or something stupid. I don't know. She began to pound on Pep's chest, hoping to restart a heart that surely was vaporized into nothing just moments ago. Chick, Pep managed to groan out. Chick, make sure you take these, he said, reaching into his pocket. Chickpea looked down with tears in her eyes. What, Pep? What? Don't go toward the island, Pep. Those don't. Please don't heed the call of the angelic strippers. Damn you, like for realsies! She cried.
This is so painful to listen to. There's so much pain in her voice.
Make sure you take these nuts, he said as he pulled his hand out of his pocket and showed her his pointer and thumb fingers forming a circle with his 3 other fingers extended out. You bastard, she cried and laughed at the same time. And then Pep died for real this time.
Oh my god.
What a great way to go out, though.
For real?
Yeah, he's dead for real, guys. Don't look it up. Like you, fucker! Chick screamed. She flipped backwards and unleashed a torrent of electrical spells toward Goldilocks. He fired his twin magic pistols and deflected most of them, save for one. It struck him in the chest, causing him to stumble back, but only a bit. Pathetic, he says, and he straightened his back and stood firm. Aquafina! Chick yelled as a giant aquarium's worth of water formed a ball and enveloped Goldilocks. He crossed his arms inside and tilted his head to one side. Ruler, he said, muffled by the water. Darude Sandstorm! Chick yelled, holding out her glowing staff. A torrent of sand rushed forth at Goldilocks, pelting him with stinging sand. Ow, okay, that kind of is stingy, but also, he said again, straightening up, pathetic as usual. Well, this really has been a nice reunion, but we must be going. I have many, many important things to do, Goldilocks said, admiring his guns and polishing them on his chest like they were an apple or something. Gunk, my friend, he said, turning to the dwarf who was still writhing in pain. It is time we catch up a bit. Goldilocks held out a hand, and from it a golden metallic globule seeped out. It immediately jumped onto Gunk's face. The half-conscious dwarf tried to shake it off, but it let out a hiss and then covered Gunk's mouth and nose. Trying to breathe, Gunk now rattled the chains around his wrists and ankles. No, stop, yelled Sid. No, stop, Goldilocks. It's too late, hero. Just as Gunk was about to fully panic, the golden globule seeped into his throat and nose and tear ducts. He breathed in deeply as his entire body stiffened, almost rising up, like that one scene in Bloodsport where Jean-Claude is tied to the bamboo trees. A golden liquid metallic casing started flowing from his various face holes, slowly covering his entire body. When it reached his 2 metallic mechano arms, it slowed to a crawl, but its advance continued. Goldilocks' smile widened as the slow takeover was nearly complete. "Hey, Goldie Cox," a voice said from his side. "Dodge this." Fred stood there with his arm fully cocked back right hook. He let loose a thunder punch so fierce that if it were to punch one of those punch strength test machines at a carnival, it would simply say, "I retire," and then pack up its little arcade briefcase and go and live in Fort Lauderdale with my aunt. The punch itself broke the sound barrier. Nice, this is good writing. A shockwave hit Goldilocks' face a millisecond after Fred's fist met his perfectly sculpted golden chin. His golden head shot sideways so fast that any normal person's neck would have snapped. The gold metallic casing immediately liquefied and splayed off from what used to be Duncan's corpse. The shockwave hit the rest of the flamingos as Chick covered her tiny ears. The liquid metal, frozen midair, splayed off Duncan's left side of his head. Beneath lay a rotting corpse. A half of a clean skull with a single golden eye, which twitched and then shot a look at Fred. The skull began to laugh. It now cackled. "Good punch, new guy," Goldilocks said, jerking his neck back forward. "My turn." Goldilocks threw a right-handed uppercut so savage and perfect that Fred barely had time to see it. His chin didn't miss it, though. The next thing Fred knew, he was floating through the air, and everything was in slow motion. He opened his eyes to see the ceiling of the shit-infested cesspit that he had entered. Then, in slow motion, he turned in midair, and his entire body was facing downward. He saw Sid shaking his head and covering his eyes. Chickpea was wincing and mouthing something like either "Oh God" or maybe "Go-Gurt." He wasn't sure. Buffcat was transfixed on the now flying object with his ears back and his eyes laser focused. Fred smiled and waved a dainty wave at Chickpea. She really was pretty cool after all, he thought. I wonder if she knows why I'm flying, he also thought. Thud! Fred's body hit the floor with a crunch and a thud that can only be described as Indiana Jones-esque. Ouch, he said matter-of-factly. Well, it's been fun, flame ding-dongs, Goldilocks said as he unfastened the now transmuted gunk from the sex machine. I mean torture rack. Golden gunk. No, wait, that's not good. Glunk. Nah. 24-karat gunk. No, we'll workshop this, Goldilocks said to himself. Go find the little troublemaker, the one who he needs. Wait, I got it. Goldunk. Nice. Goldilocks said. They're going after Demi, Sid said, turning to the others. We need to split up. Okay, how do we decide? Okay, how do we decide? Okay, how do we decide? Should we roll for initiative or what? Fred said, rubbing his chin. What in the fuck are you talking about, dude? Chick shouted. Mew mew. Mew, 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 Buffcat said in unison.
What are you talking about?
I don't know, guys. I got hit, really hard. I think I have, 37 goddamn concussions. Fred said, spitting out a tooth. Mew, 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 mew. Buffcat chimed in. A lottery, BC? What kind of prompt, suggestion is that? Plus, we don't have time to make all the tickets and get one of those rolls of carnival tickets that you can just buy at stores. So why do people even pay for them at carnivals anyway? Sid went on and on. Chick sighed. Sid and I will go after Goldcock. Fred and Strong Feline, you go save Demi. And don't, she paused, don't go easy on Gunk this time. Do what you need to do. She looked down at Peppercorn's dead corpsey body and turned away, fighting back a tear. Sid and Chickpea ran toward the tunnel Goldilocks had exited and soon found themselves out on a busy girl street. All around were people doing their daily life shit, just waiting for the day when they died, and anything and everything that they ever did was meaningless in the eyes of an unforgiving, unblinking, eternal universe.
Wow.
Same.
Author bleeding into his own story there.
I'm not known for that.
No, not at all.
What the fuck is that? Sid said as he pointed ahead. Down the street, a giant pyramid-like structure began to erupt out of the ground. That's like PODHQ, Chick said expositionally. It just keeps rising, Sid said, looking upward. People in the street began to take notice as murmurs of wonder and soon screams of horror could be heard. Sid and Chick just simply stared in awe at this erect marvel. Like, yo, well, you get the point. I won't do it. That thing is rising faster than Pep at a Megan Thee Stallion concert, Chick said, smiling. Aw, Pep, she said quietly and frowned.
Oh.
The two pushed their way through a crowd of now freaking out citizens toward the now the near several hundred stories tall mountain of building. It hummed with a vibratory power. Ladies first, Sid said with a smile. That's what I was about to say, Chick replied. Inside of the once pretty regular, if not super fashy POD station, the two found themselves in a different world. Everything was now made of stone. On the desk near the elevator was a stone sign-in sheet, and a stone quill and stone ink.
What?
Should we sign in or
Stone ink.
should we sign in or halt? A raspy voice called out. What are you doing here? Papers now! Shouted a giant golden ant-man. Next to him stood two former PODs, now turned to gold, looking straight ahead robotically, yet somehow more smarter than before, as if they now had 2 brain cells instead of 0 brain cells. What the hell are you? Sid said out loud. Get them! The ant-man shouted. Socks hissed and turned into a sword. Chickpea readied her staff and let loose a volley of magic missiles, striking the two PODs at the same time. They stumbled back, but seemed unhurt. Sid's lashed forward and sliced the golden ant-man. He raised a glowing magical carapace, which he was using as a shield. Socks clanged and sparked as it hit the shield. This is gonna take a while, Chick said, sighing. I can't seem to... She parried another attack. Cut through their gold shit or whatever, she said eloquently. Sid saw an opening and sliced up and then down and up again. The gold ant hissed in pain as 3 of his arms were now flopping around on the ground, twitching and writhing as if they were hissing themselves. The cuts were burning like they had been cauterized. The Ant-Man screamed and attacked without thinking. Sid crouched down and slashed, bisecting the insectoid horizontally in half. His body flopped on the ground and began to disintegrate into ash. I gotta get me a cat, Chick said. Meow, meow, Sock said, turning back into cat form. He leapt over to Chickpea and rubbed his cutie face against the crystal of her staff. It glowed a powerful blue, as if recharged, and then Sock leapt into Sid's hands as a sword again. That's a lot of S's.
Mm.
Okay,
Sibilance.
Chick said.
Sibilance.
Okay, Chick said. The two PODs charged at her as she closed her eyes and shouted one last desperate spell. Electric slide, she shouted. An arcane electrical dome exploded out of her epicenter, catching the two PODs mid-charge. They sizzled and sparked like a fork in the microwave. Finally, they turned into fragile ash, just as the remnants of incense or that of the ash of a cigarette. Chickpea opened her eyes to see them inches from her, but turned to gray-brown dust. She poked cautiously at one of them as it crumbled into smoky-smelling dirt. Noise, she said, blowing on the other POD like a birthday candle. It too collapsed. Back at the Flamingos HQ, Demi was watching all-see makeup tutorials hosted by Glog the Majestic. What you want to do is apply as much makeup to the face as possible, so's the hotties want to lick it off during a makeout sesh, the 8-foot-tall orc woman said as she caked eyeliner onto her forehead. Demi? A familiar voice came from the bar. In here, Demi said, applying the same amount of highlighter to her own forehead. Hello, little one, Gunk said.
Oh, no.
Demi turned around to see Gunk, who looked much as he always did. Maybe a little more tired, but not at all gold or weird or evil or anything at all. Not one bit. We need to go help Sid. Yes, that's it. Sid needs help defeating the groceries needing to be moved inside, Gunk said, regular as hell. Okay, Demi said, weirded out a bit. But grocery day is on Tuesday because Uncle Knife Troll says that you get the best veggies because they got more tood on a Tuesday. Did I say groceries? I meant hosieries. Yes, we have a lot of women's clothes we need moved into the storage room. Gunk smiled, a really fake smile like the Terminator. But Uncle Steak Meat's idea for a black market for women's hosieries wasn't slated to go live until the end of the month, Demi said suspiciously. Demi, Gunk said, a pained look on his face. A golden visage now replaced his scarred and pockmarked face. Demi, run, he said, as the golden liquid began to peel itself off of his face. Underneath, Gunk looked at Demi with tears in his eyes, pleading for her to run. Uncle Grunkle, she said softly. She reached for her flaming sword, which was in an old mini-golf bag. She held it high up and ignited its fury. Red and white hot flames shot out. Her hair blew back from its power. Gunk slowly was reaching his now golden metal arms up to his face. He grunted and screamed. What the poop are you doing to him, you evil dick cheese? Demi shouted. She pointed her sword toward the Goldunk. It hissed as the flames kissed its liquidity. Gunk strained against it, and his arms pulled up to his head, grabbing at the sides of his own head and wrenching them outward. The golden liquid began to slowly peel away from his face. It formed its own face as it turned back to Gunk's face, now straining, veiny grunt. Gunk's own straining, veiny grunting face. It screamed an unnatural scream and tried to lunge itself back onto Gunk. Demi held out her sword and slashed it down. It sizzled and cut a sheath of gold liquid free. It meeped and tried to rejoin its larger self, but turned to dust before it could reform. Gunk's eyes were now bloodshot, and blood spilled from his hairy ears. He grunted and pulled, with every last ounce of strength, he pulled the gold form from within himself. It slurped onto the floor as Demi pointed her sword down and stabbed through it. It screamed and wailed. It turned into 1,000 different forms and finally fizzled out, save for a small amount which slithered its way through the floorboards.
Ew.
Uncle Gunk? Uncle Gunk? Demi said quietly. Gunk collapsed on the floor and passed out. Sid and Chickpea gasped for air as they reached the top of the most giant building in the history of buildings. Man, puffed Sid, sucking in as much air as he could. We sure had to fight a lot of guys. Sure did, Chick said out of breath. Good thing we did all those cool moves. I only hope that there was enough page space to add some filler for this story so we could hear about all the sick fucking karate kung fu shit we just did against all those guys, Sid said, looking at the camera. Slow clap. Well, Goldilocks said, slow clappingly. You made it.
Clappingly.
Why are you, even on the roof? Chick said, looking around an empty-ass roof. It's called drama, little mama. Learn to love it, Goldilocks said as he whipped out his pistols. He fired 2 shots. Sid moved swiftly and blocked one with socks. Chick blocked the other with a shield from her staff. The crystal on her staff began to blink. Socks shifted again into cat form and let out a meow before shifting back to sword form. Low battery, the staff said robotically. Can you, juice it up again, cat? Chick asked the sword. Oh, your little glow stick run out of gold juice, Goldilocks mocked. Soon we will have the anomaly, and this whole shithole realm will make Orcspire look like Orlando.
Oh no.
Those both sound pretty not good, Sid said, frowning. They circled around each other while Goldilocks smiled and taunted them. You still haven't answered what you're doing up here, Sid said. By now, Goldunk has the anomaly. I needed to split you up, even the odds a bit. Sid and Chick were now facing Goldilocks as their backs were against the edge of the roof. Sid looked down as a gust of wind whipped through his hair. It sent a shiver up his spine. But I guess it's time to end this game and move on to the next one, Goldie said, pointing both pistols at Chickpea. No, Sid yelled. Two bangs rang out in unison. Sid slashed with Socks as he lunged in front of Chick. Socks slashed one bullet in twain, but the other, it struck him in the chest. He felt the pain and he flew back over the edge of the roof. No! Chickpea screamed. Goldilocks trained his pistols once again at her. Guess this is goodbye, little one, he said, smiling. She panted out of magic and out of breath. Fuck it, she said. Luke Skywalker, bitch! She yelled as she let herself fall away backwards over the roof's edge. Debbie! Debbie! Fred yelled as he burst through the door of Flamingo's HQ. Mew mew! Buffcat yelled. Both split up to look for the small girl. In here! Fred yelled. A moment later, Buffcat ran into Demi's bedroom. It was empty. Demi's sword and mini golf club bag were gone. On the floor was a stain of burnt something. It smelled of grease and burnt electronics, like brake dust and rust. Mew mew, Buffcat asked. I don't know, Fred replied. To be continued.
Oh my god. Who are you, Rich Masters, killing off all these people? You bloodthirsty fuck.
God damn.
I mean,
This dude craves death.
Who knows?
who knows?
Another few times where I totally got what Buffcat was saying.
Yeah,
Like, Rich always laughs at that. That always makes me laugh because he loves it so much.
that's the genius of him. It's like, it's Chopper.
It's Chopper,
right?
yeah.
Like, eventually you're like, oh, I know what he's saying.
Yeah.
Like, it's so smart. Like, that's such a smart
Yeah,
thing
what
to
are you
do.
talking about?
What the fuck are you talking about? That's so perfect. It's so perfect.
Oh, man.
I
How many episodes we got left?
yeah.
Infinity, I guess.
Yeah, for you, however long you plan on being in the show.
Yeah.
Or however long we want you on the show, you know.
I'm just...
Whoa. Hint, hint.
I guess I'll move to Orlando.
Don't worry, Patreon isn't that high yet, so you don't have to worry about it.
No.
That's true. I'm safe. And poor.
It's the best way to be.
Instead of unsafe and poor.
Oh man, it was so good.
I love that
Thanks.
story.
It was a good
It was all right.
two-part. It was a good second part.
It's fucking terrifying me that all my favorite characters are being murdered like Rich Masters got his fucking hands
You
on.
don't know if Sid is dead. I mean, Christ's sake, we got merchandise with him.
Yeah, he's not going to kill Sid. Sid's off the roof, but he's
Well, now
like
he's
swung
gonna
away
kill
or
him.
something.
Yeah,
Nah.
now I'm just gonna do it.
You've activated his fucking oppositional defiance trap card.
Oh, shoo you,
I'm-
Kaiba.
Unfortunately, it was triggered by someone with severe operational defiance, so he's going to do it. It's like two negatives.
That's true. Oh my god, this is brilliant. You're so
We're
smart.
getting deep into the psychoses.
It's a double negative.
You see how I have to work it now? Now I'm gonna praise him because this is how you do it.
Right.
You're so
I'm
smart,
learning.
Rich.
Thanks.
That's
Thanks.
so smart. I wish I thought of that. You're good. And handsome.
Ah, thanks.
He's just so
You
talented.
dick.
He's such a talented guy.
Such a hot dick.
I mean, you're not telling me something I already don't know. So, now we're going to close the cover, or zip the pants, on this week's stories. So prompt generator. We're going to go back to prompt or C prompt ball, right? So
Sure.
first one is Chains by two people, Jake Harker and Ian Squires.
We didn't have chains before?
No. We've had clowns twice. And not noticed it. And the second one is Sidekicks by Squid Ludwig.
Oh, I just introduced
nice.
the sidekick back into this story. That's perfect.
That's great.
You need a gaudy origin story.
Already did that, or did I?
A double origin.
I was gonna say, didn't he miss his girlfriend's dad who was in the
On the train.
What?
from the train?
Yeah, he it was all a dream though.
It was all a dream.
Used to read Word Up magazine.
If you thought those prompts are really good, but I can do much better than that because I'm a genius with a big dick, then you can head over to patreon.com/storylords, and for as little as $5 a month you can support the show primarily, but you can also join the Discord, suggest prompts, read the stories in a text form, and you get access to Afterlords, one of the shows that we do once a month, and is always a blast. If you do $10 a month, you get access to the other sidecasts we do every month. And for $25...
Including one that we don't know about right now, John.
One that we're going to record and they don't know nothing about. So it's going to be super fun. And
Boy tells me nothing.
And for $25 a month, you get all that, plus you get a hangout session with us or a watch-along or something like that we're going to do next month, because it'll be August, so it'll be the first quarter, and you get that quarterly. If you...
What are we going to watch?
Oh, I don't know.
What are we going to do?
What are we going to do? If you are part of the Timmy Blackcrest...
purpose?
If you're part of the Timmy Blackcrest Memorial Fund for $69 a month, you get all of that. You get a profile picture done by me, and you also get something else which I can't remember.
You get a special sound cue in the thanks.
Yes, you do.
Show.
You do. You get your own title and your own official title on the Discord. So, yeah. In fact, that reminds me I've still got to do Stephen's PFP, but I haven't spoken to him about it
Do
yet.
it.
Donkey.
Anything else about the show, you can find out on storylords.page or storylords.card.co, including checking the artwork out, reading the episode descriptions, and so on.
There
Storylords
is a beautiful animated opening for the show by Nate Bit. With music, of course, by Vitizen. Check that shit out on the website as well.
It's really great. Really great. It's got the Conveyance of Grissom Graves on it. Just
Got
so you know.
Buffcat in it.
And Buffcat.
Nice.
So, we haven't got any reviews on iTunes. Please send some reviews.
We haven't
They're
had a
always fun
review
to read
since
out.
April.
Yeah, that's a long time.
My birthday is also this month, too, so that's why you should leave a review.
Absolutely.
It's also this month.
It's our
I mean,
unbirthdays.
think about it. It could be. Why do we pick Whatever.
Why
Any day.
did you just say, why do we pick birthdays?
Yeah, why do we pick them? Why do we pick that day?
Storylords is also on YouTube, and John Anderson is, as regularly as he can, putting them up.
Thank you, John.
Thanks to John, he's a legend.
John rules.
I'm gonna.
Not to be confused with John Legend, who is a different guy.
He's John Anderson, the Pizza Papa.
Indeed.
Pizza Papa.
Big thanks to Greg, who does all our music. Vitizen, you can find him at vitizen.card.co. Has all the information you ever need about him. I think it has his social security number as well. So you can head over there and then just defraud him.
Telling him to take that all, but he says he's no fucking coward. So.
Yeah.
He's like, what do you call me, a pussy? And we're like, all right, dude, Jesus.
Let him come at me, bitch, is what he said to me. So I was like,
it's also my phone number, and that's how I remember it. I'm like, damn, man, there's all kinds of information.
That's too many numbers, I think, but all right.
The real
Or too little.
Too little?
The defense is he puts his inside leg measurement on there as well, and it scares people off. So it's just genius when you think about it.
Cyber secure as hell.
It's like an antivirus. Want to say a big thanks to all the patrons. Stephen, who is now our official top patron, I want to say a big thank you to Henry Roslar for supporting us at the top tier as long as he did.
Yeah, thank you,
just
Henry. You truly were the
amazing.
king of patrons.
One last king of patrons.
And I'm never going to give that name to another person. So if you ever want to come back, you know that your title is there, right?
Yeah, it's safe. We're never going to give the title.
That's how kings work.
Yeah. It's just temporary abdication.
Yeah. And then they're like, yeah, definitely you can have it back. I didn't like being king.
No, exactly. But, so the new top patron is our concubine of patron, Stephen. So thank you for supporting us, Stephen. And then we've got the regular other masterpieces tier holders are Anthony Stoker, Chris Balso, Federico Rodriguez, Gordon Ream, Granola Daniels, Heath Robinson, Jake Anderson and Jonathan Anderson, the brothers Anderson, who are not related, Malonite, Pez King, Rat in real life, although it's Ratty in real life now. Change that. Rena Kemp, Sean Tabor, Squid Ludwig, and Werewolf Bar Mitzvah. Werewolf Bar Mitzvah. Oh, for fuck's sake. Werewolf Bar Mitzvah underscore patron underscore only, which is one of my absolute favourites.
And you can't even say it.
I know. I didn't have one,
Did
actually.
You have one?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Folks at home, I think my two compatriots can no longer hear me, so just between you and me.
Oh, I can hear you.
I'm the best writer on the Oh, okay. They can still hear it.
He almost got away with it.
I can hear you. I just had to get it out. I had to get that Werewolf Bar Mitzvah thing out. I had to do it.
I was just trying to share a little aside
of the load. I think we've got some new people who have upgraded to Masterpieces because of the Patreon changes, but it hasn't registered on Patreon yet. So next week you will get a readout, essentially. But I want to do what I always do and give one of our lifetime people a shout out. Gene Berger, who's been a Hender Saints supporter since February 7th, 2023. Thank you for your continued support.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Gene!
Well,
you guys watched that show?
No.
Arrested Development?
Yeah, I've watched it, but I can't remember.
A long time ago.
Whenever Martin Mull comes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Gene. What's his name? Gene Shalit? No, that's not.
No,
that's the comedian.
That's not
a comedian. That's the movie guy. Gene Parmesan.
Parmesan. I was like,
Parmesan.
It's a cheese.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gene Parmesan. Yeah, that's it.
So next week we've got Chains and Sidekicks. Join us for that. Thank you everyone for the support and the love and the lack of fan art.
Whoa.
And
now you're getting a full taste of British passive aggressive.
And as always, just keep on trucking, I guess. Bye, love you.
That was a good ending. Bye, everybody.
Keep on fucking.